Hi, Wise Parents. Sarah Dator here from Wise Girl Workshops. I'm here with Dr. Helene Spivak, who is teaming up with me, and I'm really excited about to have her join us for the conversations for teen girls on intimacy, safety, and consent. And so I wanted to give you some information about why your daughter should be attending. And I thought it would be great for you to hear from both Dr. Spivak and myself about why this topic is so important and why we're spending our time wanting to educate girls on this topic. So Dr. Spivak, you are a recently retired OBGYN physician who has a lot of experience working with women and girls. And so I'm curious, why are you teaming up with me to get this information out to girls?
Well, I just want to emphasize, of course, I take care of women of all ages, starting with, as young as 12, 13, 14. And I think it's critically important for parents and children to understand, what does it mean to get initiated in a sexual relationship. I've been on numerous sexual health committees through Kaiser, and topics come up all the time about, how is sex initiated? How is it appreciated? How is it actually mutually consented to? And I think this is a topic that is so vital for young women to really empower them and their bodies and recognize that it is their body and no one else has the right to talk them into something they're not ready to do, neither their friends, neither social media, neither the partner that they might be hoping to partner with in a sexual way. And so I just really want to emphasize how important that topic is and offer some suggestions if they have any questions at all about how to respond if they are entering a sexual relationship that doesn't feel completely safe to them and they're not ready for. So that's why I think it's critically important. I want women to know that they own their own bodies.
Yeah, that's wonderful and really important, and that's going to be a really great message for daughters or for girls to be able to have. But we're going to talk about how to help girls be able to make really good decisions for themselves around when they're ready to be intimate. Because do you find that some girls don't really realize that they're ready, or they think they might be ready and they're not?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a topic that not everybody is talking about, I'll say, when they come to me. And so I have to kind of tease that information out, because by the time typically they're coming to me, it's for questions about, medical things that need to be discussed. But that's sort of a separate topic that I do believe is vitally important. And again, I'll just emphasize, I can just tell by sometimes evaluating a patient that they're simply not ready. They just aren't ready for that activity yet, by the way things progress with our exam and how comfortable they are talking about what is going on. So if they're not ready, then they really shouldn't be having sexual activity at all, is what I would say.
Mhm. So you found, it sounds like as an OBGYN, that a lot of times by the time historically sort of girls get to you, that they've already been sexually active. They're talking to you maybe about birth control or things that maybe aren't going well, or just concerns they have about their body. And I love that in what we're going to be talking about is sort of the more of the preventative measures,
Right.
not in terms of discouraging girls around having sex, but just really being able to make informed decisions, and not really just about sex, but about like when you're ready to hold hands, when you're ready to hug, when you're ready to have somebody touch your body. That necessarily doesn't mean intercourse, but
Right.
all of those steps that maybe eventually lead someone to feel comfortable and confident around intercourse. So I think this is going to be great for girls.
Yeah, no, I do think that is critically important. I think it's something that should be discussed ahead of time rather than after the fact, when they don't even understand what's happening. So yeah, to be ready means perhaps there's an understanding of what to expect with this activity, whether it's, the emotional connection that happens typically for people. Is that going to help them? Is that going to hurt them because they're not ready for that? All of those things, I think, really should be factors in a young person's decision about timing.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. And again,
So
the most, I'm sorry to interrupt.
yeah, go ahead.
It's just really not to use peer pressure and an age as well. Of course, you should be doing this because all your friends are. I really think that's not the message at all that should be conveyed. Conveyed.
Yeah. And that's definitely in my work as a therapist and also running Wise Girl workshops. I have a lot of conversations and have had a lot of conversations about this over the last 20 years. And there is sort of a pressure like, I want to have lost my virginity by the time I leave high school. I mean, that girls might not be talking about that as much as maybe they used to, but I definitely hear things like that. That just sort of like, I want to get it over and get it out of the way. So I want to go to college. And, I don't know that's really living with our values. And, a lot of the work I do is about helping people get in touch with what they value. Do you value intimacy? Do you value monogamy? Do you value being able to date lots of people or have lots of partners? Figuring out what it is that you value, what you're in line with, and then moving forward with that. And when I hear girls say things like that, that doesn't sound like they're living with their values.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And again, being able to communicate those values to others, that's perhaps the most important thing, is being able to say, hey, this just isn't feeling comfortable to me. And I just don't want the pressure of that sense of, oh, it's time. It's just time to do it or get it over with. It's never just time. It's about whether it feels right and you're not feeling pressured by any other thing beside your own issues and values. That's a great way of phrasing it.
Yeah. So in this talk, we're going to talk about how to know when you're ready. We're going to talk about abstinence. We're going to talk about enthusiastic consent. We're going to talk about safety and pressure. And my hope is that girls can leave this conversation with us getting in tune with what they value. And I hope that they value these things. I hope that they value abstinence until they're ready. I hope they value enthusiastic consent versus just sort of lukewarm consent with like, yeah, I guess we can, go this far, or we can have sex. Like, I'm hoping that girls can leave valuing that. I'm hoping that they can leave valuing safety and valuing that when they're feeling pressure, that they have something that they can do about it if they're not ready to go as far as maybe somebody else wants to.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it. That's absolutely the case. And maybe it's even once they're in college, they might not be ready or nor want it. And that's critically vital too, is to understand that, not everybody really wants it.
Mhm.
And to really just say and feel comfortable with expressing your own self. And that is just so vital for now, for the future, in ever discussing any kind of issue between two people or multiple people, is you have to be able to express yourself. And sometimes that gets squelched, particularly in women, tending to be raised as the more perhaps passive person in a sexual dynamic. I think that has to change. I really feel that the woman should feel very empowered to say, hey, I don't want this, I'm not ready, or hey, I really do, how about you? And if that person says no, they have to respect that as well. Everyone develops at a different rate. I think that's really incredibly true.
Yeah,
And
these are
sorry, and vital, I was just saying.
Yeah. Well, these are really great points, Dr. Spivak, and I'm really looking forward to having this conversation with girls. And I think it's going to be some really great information. I know a lot of girls might feel a little resistant to coming. It can feel like talking about sex or intimacy can be like, I don't want to talk about it. But we know through both of our work that girls are talking about it, right? They're talking about it amongst each other. Hopefully they're talking with parents at home, but we know that they may not be giving them the whole story in a lot of cases, because it's also a time of really wanting independence. There can be some embarrassment when it comes to talking with families. And so I love that we're going to be able to give some girls some real good information in a different way than they might be receiving at school, because oftentimes these conversations in school happen in a co-ed environment. And I think it's really powerful to have girls, female identifying people come together and be able to have this conversation and get this information.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's true in an environment that's totally non-threatening. It's not like, oh, I'm going to see them every day again, or, oh, it's, they're going to tell somebody about, I came here and we had this conversation together. No, it will be totally non-threatening and open, and all questions will be invited. And we really hope that, young women bring their questions and feel very comfortable just expressing questions they may have had that they didn't feel they could ask the people around them at this point in their lives. But here we are as two professionals who've dealt with this all our lives, and it's not embarrassing to us. And we're happy to help in any way we can get them started in a really positive body expression and self-expression and communication. I just see that as so vital.
Yeah. So if you have a daughter in 7th and 8th grade, we are hosting this workshop at Liberty School from 6:30 to 8 o'clock on April 26th. If you have a daughter in 9th through 12th grade at Liberty School from 6:30 to 8 on April 28th, we're going to be hosting that workshop. And it really, as Dr. Spivak's pointing out, we're really going to make this non-threatening. And if you have a daughter that just like, I do not have any questions and I do not want to speak up, then that is totally fine too. This is really a pressure-free environment. As I always do things at Wise Girls, I want girls to just be able to be as they are, to take the pressure off, that they don't have to ask questions. But if they do, we welcome them and we would love to hear them. And if you have any questions about the workshop, or if you're finding that you want to host this workshop somewhere else, just please feel free to reach out for us. We're both, as you can see, really passionate about this topic and really wanting to help girls make good decisions, make wise decisions. So I hope to see your daughter there.